Trash Takes is back, baby. Episode 10. Cannot believe it. Didn't know how we made it here, but thanks to the thousands watching and the millions listening at home, we're able to pull it off. Very, very clear and obvious. We got exciting things coming off of this week, which is the NFL draft. I've been pumped up. We obviously did our podcast last time where we did our mock draft. Unfortunately, we ran through the tape, went through all the names, and it looks like nobody won the $100 for getting for our mock draft. I mean, we were close. I think we made it to pick 3 before it was deemed completely imperfect. But we tried our best. Now, there were some that I think we did hit on that was like actually outside the box, a little surprising because some teams are really stupid. But we got the big brains. And I think I got the Bengals pick. But regardless, there was just wild things, man. I actually had a good time watching round one, not just waiting for the Giants picks and the Jets picks and whatever they were doing. But, I mean, I was just excited with how many twists and turns and unexpected picks that at least happened. At least I thought were unexpected. But it was great, and I think both of us are somewhat pretty happy with how everything went down. So my idea is rather than do, because obviously our favorite segment here now is Cash or Trash, I figured best way you can kind of get it off our chest of how we felt pick by pick is that's how we'll do this week's rendition of Cash or Trash. We'll run down the picks. I'll run down yours for the Jets. You'll run down mine for the Giants. And we'll give our opinion on how it is. I think it's somewhat positive, but we'll give a little piece of mind on it. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good to me, man. For sure. I mean, I know that you're a pretty big fan of the Giants draft. I think both New York teams did a real good job this year, rather.
Yep.
There's not really anything I think either of us could complain about. So,
we'll see.
You want to kick it off, or?
Yeah, I'll kick off with the Jets. You let me know on each individual pick. And then we'll bounce to the Giants, and I'll give you my peace of mind on it, all right?
Yeah, man.
So right off the bat, no surprises here. Out of the long list of surprises in round one, there's no surprise here. Round one, the Jets select quarterback Zach Wilson at the BYU. Cash or trash?
That's cash money, obviously. I mean, listen, I was a big proponent of giving Sam one more year, putting a whole team, a whole offense in front of him. They didn't think he was the guy. You gotta get a quarterback somehow. This was the very clear and obvious pick. You take Zach Wilson at 2, and you build around him. I mean, I don't think anybody thought they were going anywhere different. This is very clear cash money.
Yeah, I think a lot of Jets fans were expecting it. They've kind of got it in their head to be excited for Zach Wilson one way or another. So I feel like most Jets fans will agree with you.
You got it.
Next, still round one, the 13th pick. In my opinion, the highlight of the Jets' entire draft. The Jets trade up with, I believe, the Vikings. Right? With the Vikings to select Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman at a USC. Cash or trash?
This is the most cash pick you could have had in the draft.
Agreed.
The very clear best guard in the draft. The Jets' biggest hole on offense, arguably, I mean, now that they signed Tevin Coleman, was either guard slot. Mekhi Becton obviously solidified left tackle. George Fant looked real good at right tackle. So, guard was the hole. You come into the season as a Jets fan, I think you have to give Joe Douglas the benefit of the doubt that if he's drafting an offensive lineman, that guy's a stud. And, the Jets trade up for a guy. They had top 10 on their board at 14. You give Zach Wilson protection. It's everything we ever asked for as Jets fans. Build the offense. Joe Douglas started off the draft real hot.
Yeah, that one is a big one for me. I mean, even when you break down who they traded with and where, for me, yes, that's the best guard in the draft. That might be the third best offensive lineman in the draft. And I had a feeling that he was probably going to end up going to L.A., the Chargers, had one, Slater not been there. But I think if it was down to the 2, I know they lost a guard, so they're probably going to replace him with Tucker. So, yeah, I think not just from you got Tucker, you drafted Tucker, but the fact that you drafted a perfect spot to actually execute it, all around, it was a great trade. And honestly, they gave up 2/3. It's when you compare some other trades that happened in the draft, that ain't that bad. And you guys had the draft capital for it, so that's great.
For sure.
Next one, this is another decent one in my opinion. Round 2, number 34, the Jets select Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. Cash or trash?
We're running it up here, cash, bro. It's not a question. I don't think a lot of people thought Elijah Moore was going to be here at this late in the second round. I mean, second pick, but in the second round at all. Elijah Moore definitely could have gone to a lot of teams late in the first, and you wouldn't have questioned it. There was a lot of talk of taking Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle, to fill in. He would have moved inside and been guard for the Jets. There's a lot of talk of taking him, moving to the defensive side of the ball, taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, which would have been another nice pick. Jets definitely need fast cover linebackers, so that would have been a nice pick. They go Elijah Moore. Nobody should be sad about this pick. The guy's a freak. Him and A.J. Brown are best buddies, and you see what A.J. Brown is, you see what Elijah Moore can be. This also frees them up to get rid of Jamison Crowder after the season, cut his contract, and they go into another year building with a ton of cap. It puts them in a really good spot. I think Elijah Moore is going to fit in real nice.
No, that was solid for me. You end up getting a weapon for your new rookie franchise quarterback, presumably, on top of already protecting him. So that's pretty solid. And like you said, there was no guarantees. I didn't think it was crazy for him to be there, but there was no guarantees certainly for Elijah Moore to be there. So for you to get him, great.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you guys had no third-round pick because of the Elijah Vera-Tucker trade. So then we're going all the way to the fourth round at pick number 107. Michael Carter, running back out of North Carolina. Cash or trash?
This is another freebie, bro. This is more straight cash money from our hero, Joe Douglas. Definitely needed a running back. Obviously, they signed Tevin Coleman. That looks real good, right? But you need a guy for the future. They took P. Ryan last year. He couldn't win the job from Frank Gore, so he's obviously not the guy.
And I want to interject on that one too, because I was confused. Was there any chance that Piron could take over because he couldn't win the job from Frank Gore, but under the dumbest management and head coaching in the history of the planet? So could there be a different mindset with what's his face, Saleh?
There definitely could be, but it's going to be Matt LaFleur or Mike LaFleur, whichever one of them it is. I can't remember anymore.
Right.
No, it's Michael Carter is just a better player. He should have gone earlier. I saw people have as high as a second round grade on him. To get him in the fourth is fantastic value. And if you watch any kind of highlights of this guy cutting and slashing behind Javonte Williams, who was the power back in North Carolina, this kid has everything you could ever ask for. He hits the holes lightning quick. He makes people miss. He's got a super low center of gravity. He's hard to tackle. He's exactly what you want in a zone run scheme that LaFleur is going to bring to the Jets. And you have him running on the left side behind. I already saw Mekhi Becton already tweeted at Michael Carter and was like, yo, brother, watch out. Just run behind me. I got you. This is every Jets fan's dream, is having a quarterback set up behind an offensive line while also having a guy like Michael Carter who's just going to be, just run off the left side. Just run off the left side and you're going to have infinitely more success on offense this year than you did last year.
Yeah,
it's another cash pick from Joe Douglas.
Left side, strong side. That's definitely...
Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera-Tucker. Just run them over.
Yeah. No, it's good. Moving to round 5, number 146, Jamian Sherwood, safety out of Auburn.
So, this is actually I'm a go trash. I don't know a ton of Jamian Sherwood. My draft knowledge kind of falls off towards the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Yep.
But drafting a safety here does nothing for me. Now, granted, it's the 5th round. You're looking for upside, so this kid could be one of those guys who they drafted exclusively on upside. But taking a safety when you already have Marcus May and you're working on Marcus May contract, as well as Ashton Davis that you drafted last year, you brought in LaMarcus Joyner too, who plays a similar role. I just don't necessarily see the fit. I guess this is a depth pick in the 5th round, but being that the first 4 picks were such strong picks, I'm gonna go trash on this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, listen, it's one of those things where you try to start to understand the game plan, but then you also start to realize, listen, these guys aren't just drafted for today. They're supposed to be on the team for 4 to 5 years. So maybe it's for, depth and keep a long time. But you're right. Yeah. You don't know about it, and you start to think about it saying that wasn't a position of need, so let's go trash on that one. So if you're going to go trash on that one, let's fast forward 8 picks later to round 5, number 154, which I believe the Jets just wanted to get 2 guys of the same name. Michael Carter II, safety. Out of Duke.
Yeah, they drafted his dad the round before, Michael Carter. Now they drafted Michael Carter Jr. I got where you were saying it moved forward 8 picks, but the Jets tweeted that they added to the cornerback depth. So they view Michael Carter as a cornerback. I actually go cash with this pick because the cornerbacks that the Jets have on the roster are not super strong. I think Bryce Hall can be a starter. Whether or not he's going to be a star, probably not, but he'll be, a reliable starter. He'll be good there. They don't have a second corner. So to go get Michael Carter Jr. out of Duke, call him a cornerback, knowing that, I don't know if you saw this, he ran like a 4.32. Yeah. So again, 5th round, you're drafting for upside. 4.32 speed at cornerback is, that's, you're talking, a guy, Adoree Jackson.
So with this one, you're actually going cash.
I am going cash, and he's listed as safety here, but the Jets have him as a cornerback, which is why I'm saying cash.
Listen, it's promising when an organization immediately internally says, they're drafting someone like a safety, especially the position of corner, which is a harder position, and you can look at the player and say, no, we're going to convert him to corner. You almost have to trust that there's very good reason to do so. Listen, like I said, you're going to the tougher position. I mean, you've identified his athleticism and his ability to play the position. So yeah, you're right. You're looking for the upside there, and that's encouraging. Does it always work out when you switch someone's positions? No, I think sometimes you mess it up on the offensive line when you say this guy's a tackle, when you move in the guard, and vice versa. But when you're talking about moving a safety to cornerback, there's usually good reason. So yeah, I like that. Yep. Round number 5 again. You had a lot of them.
Yeah.
Pick 175 from Kansas City. Jason, Pinnock.
Yeah.
Quarterback from Pittsburgh. Cash or cash?
This is free cash. He's a future Hall of Famer because Darrelle Revis is his uncle. Oh. So, is this him? It's either him or Michael Carter. One of the two of them. One of the two of them is Darrelle Revis' nephew, and this guy went to Pitt. So, instant Hall of Famer. In all reality, another pick at a position of need, high upside guy, Jason Pinnock. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with this pick. It's not anything special. It's a fifth round corner. I'm gonna go cash because it's at a position of need, and Joe Douglas is just making all the right picks.
You throw enough shit against the wall, something's got to stick. So I like the mentality.
Yep.
Round number 6, one of 3 of them. Jeez. Round number 6, number 186. Yeah. Okay. Good luck with this one. I got this. Nazir Eldin. Okay.
Yeah.
Safety of Florida State. Cash or trash.
So, unlike Michael Carter, this guy came out as a safety, and I think he's going to stick at safety. I think there are probably some other positions they could have gone for with a similar high upside guy. So I'm going to go trash on this one. The safeties don't really do anything for me.
Gotcha. Yeah. They're kind of hit or miss. If they're later in the rounds, you don't know what the hell you're gonna have.
And I feel like they've already invested too much in the safeties they have to warrant taking a safety here when there are other positions in need.
Yeah, this guy might be at Walmart in 4 weeks. But round number 6, numero 200 on the dot. Brandon Eccles, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Quarterback in Kentucky.
Same thing. We're calling it cash. It's cornerback. The Jets need cornerbacks. You take cornerbacks. It's exactly. You get as many guys in the cornerback room as possible. One of them's probably going to be, good enough to start, right? Yeah. Also, Kentucky tends to have like one guy every year that's good enough to be an NFL talent. Who knows? This might be the guy. I have no idea. Calling it cash.
Yeah, the Jets always have that good luck to land the one guy that.
Of course. We're great.
Yeah. Moving in 7 picks later, round number 6, number 207, from Pittsburgh to Miami through KC. A lot of trades for this one, but Jonathan Marshall, defensive tackle out of Arkansas. Cash or trash?
So this is cash again. This one I actually like a lot. This guy ran like the second out of every. I'm pretty sure I saw this right. He had so in terms of production, his grade was a 55. In terms of athleticism, out of 100, his grade was a 99. I'm pretty sure he ran the second fastest 40 time for a defensive tackle out of all qualifying players in the draft. So again, round 6, you get some good depth and a player who's, if he's that athletic, you get him under the wing of a guy like Robert Saleh. That's exactly the kind of player you want to get at this point in the draft. So we're gonna call it cash again. Joe Douglas couldn't miss this year.
Yeah, just in case you had players that, from their results standpoint at their position, but they were just freak athletes, you kind of roll the dice that freak athleticism will translate to just improved performance at whatever position, or just move them to another position because you're like, wow, this guy's a physical freak. Yep. So, yeah, I like that. I like rolling the dice on that, so I get that. So, overall, Jets draft, it's safe to say cash on that one.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean,
yeah. I won't disagree.
Listen, I didn't think their defense was terrible that last year to begin with. You add Robert Saleh. Listen, it wasn't great. I'm not saying it's great. But their defense wasn't terrible last year. You had Carl Lawson. You're bringing back C.J. Mosley. You had LaMarcus Joyner in the secondary. Robert Saleh just makes every one of their players better. So, I mean, their defense is going to be much improved this year without anybody being drafted on the defensive side of the ball. So, he comes out right away, attacks offense, the first 4 picks, drafts at positions of need pretty much for the rest of the draft, besides the 2 safeties, which I thought were a little bit suspect. But I don't think any Jets fan can complain about this draft. I think Joe Douglas knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and listen, with all the moving parts you guys had, the fix isn't going to happen in 1 year. So If you walked away with saying, listen, we have a myriad of holes and issues that we have to fill, and you filled, let's call 5 out of 8, and then for a fact that corner is still an issue of need next year. Well, guess what? There's still next year. We know this is not a Super Bowl team tomorrow. You'll address it in free agency next year, or you'll address it where, hey, our first pick is corner next year. This year, you attack the quarterback, the running back, the offensive alignment, the new coach, and I guess pass rush. So Listen, and wide receiver. So you walked away with
they filled a lot of holes.
A lot of holes to attack in a list where you guys had a lot of holes, so you can't be mad about that. It can't be fixed in one season. So yeah, I agree with you. Cash on the Jets. I would love to hate on them, but I was truly impressed. And it's not the later picks that did it for me. The trade into the first, getting your presumable franchise quarterback, which I disagree that he is, but I'm saying just the idea that you got your guy.
That's the biggest thing. Even if you disagree with the Zach Wilson pick, right? You say it should have been Field, it should have been blah blah blah. They shouldn't have even taken a quarterback, whatever it might be. If they think that that's the guy of the future, there's no argument against that currently. The guy hasn't played a down in the NFL. You taking the draft at face value without any production numbers. Obviously, there's no production yet. Taking the draft at face value, fantastic draft.
Fantastic. I agree. I totally agree. And now it's time to step up to the plate. So
man. Straight over the other side, we're moving to the New York Giants. I'm going to address this right away. Conspiracy theory to just fuck the Giants from the whole NFC East. This shit's incredible. The Cowboys get robbed at pick 9. Pick 9, they wanted Patrick Surtain, so the Broncos at 9 took Surtain right in front of the Cowboys at 10.
And they wanted J.C. Horn. Which is
they wanted J.C. Horn, who went at 8 to the Panthers. So naturally, at 10, the Cowboys say, what can we possibly do to fuck the Giants? And that is let the Eagles trade up 2 spots to take Devonta Smith right out of their nose. Right out from under their nose.
They picked which division rival they wanted to assist just to fuck the Giants. Now, well, rattle it off because I'm gonna cover all of it.
It was very so. That's the prerequisite to their first pick is that happens. The Giants trade out of 11, move back to 20. Who do they trade with? Chicago, the Bears.
Oh,
The Bears traded up. They wanted Justin Fields.
I'm going to just start off. So the round 1 is the pick 20. Kadarius
Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. Go ahead.
And I'm going cash. And I'll give you the full reason why it's cash. So Giants have obviously starting off with 11. I did have my picks in mind. I had leading up to the draft. I've tweeted it. I went back and forth with a bunch of Giants fans and everybody trying to evaluate the draft. There was a select few people that I was happy to walk away with. And that part of that list was any of the 2 wide receivers of Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith, which Jamar Chase wasn't going to happen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So Devonta Smith being a real possibility. Rashawn Slater, I really liked him and I really wanted him. He was still my number one guy. And if we walked away with Micah Parsons, I was totally going to be thrilled too. That was the one defensive player in the first round that I would have been happy with, since I felt like our defense is in really good shape right now and offense was really a position to need. So, with all that being said, and I was okay with Waddle too. I really was okay with Waddle. I got talked into it, and he's going to be a stud. So, with all the crazy things that happened, Miami taking Waddle, I thought was insane at 6. Didn't expect it. Never had a mock in my head that happening.
I told you. You don't listen.
I know. So that happened and threw everything for a loop. So Devonta Smith being right there saying, wow, you know what? I'm going to accept this one. If we're going wide receiver, that's our guy. The Giants figured because the Cowboys, we live rent-free in their head, and they know we're going to be absolute hell for them for years to come. They literally would rather have traded with a division rival of Philadelphia Eagles just to screw the New York Football Giants. And I understand, no, they made a good trade because they moved back 2 spots and still, I don't want to hear it and stop defending them Giants fans. They're a bunch of pussies. They made a pussy move. It is what it is. The Eagles got Devonta Smith. Now I'm retracting my cash or trash of last time of Devonta Smith weight being an issue. It's an issue. He sucks. He's going to be terrible.
Naturally. And
Micah goes to the Cowboys, which is actually a great pick for them, but I hope he has horrible character issues. He gets suspended, fights somebody in the locker room.
I'm gonna chime in. I don't know about that pick, dude. They already had Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith. I thought it was kind of weird.
Jalen Smith broke his neck or something.
Yeah, he's probably dead again.
That's fair. So that's definitely a position need. And then Sean Lee retired. So I think it's a good pick, but I think he has character issues, and the Cowboys don't do well with that, so I hope somebody fights. But bottom line is the trade that presented itself with Justin Fields stupidly still being on the board because of the character assassination that the media did. The Bears did the one thing I was saying they had to do in their position, and that was trade up and snag a fallen Justin Fields that should not have been there, and our pick was the pick there. And David Gettleman said, listen, if 2 guys that we're looking for are not there, Waddle and Devonta Smith, we're moving out. And we're getting, one of these pass rushers or whatever like that. I would have liked Rashawn Slater because he was right there to take, but we traded back and took a position of still need because we're adding weapons for Daniel Jones to work with. And honestly, Kadarius Toney looks like a stud, so I'm going cash because what did we get in return? Next year's 1st, this year's 5th, and next year's 4th.
That's what I was waiting for you to hit on. Kadarius Toney. All right. So people are all over the Kadarius Toney pick because he could have been taken in the 2nd round. That's actually not true. It came out that somebody would have taken him. I don't know who was at 25, but somebody at 25 said, the Jaguars. No, the Jaguars said that they would have taken Kadarius Toney had he been there.
Oh,
yes.
Instead
of Etienne. Yeah,
running back while still having a running back.
We're gonna save that one for later because
we'll get into that.
But I agree with you. I mean, I think he could have been taken later. Obviously, we found out that he wouldn't have been taken later because the Jaguars would have taken him. I think it was I think he's a decent player. I don't think he's your number 1, but you're in a situation where Kenny Golladay is your 1 anyway. You don't have to worry about him being a number 1. I think it's a nice pick, a good position to need. Move on to their 2nd pick. This is mine. This is my pick. Edge rusher Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia with the 50th pick. Cash or trash?
I fell an absolute love cash and money with this.
Dude, bank
the
robbery.
Funny part about it is, so everyone was complaining about the Kadarius Toney because, like you said, you could have took him in the 2nd round. All right, fine. For just your own mental sanity, Giants fans, pretend that Azeez Ojulari went in the 1st and Kadarius Toney went in the 2nd, and all of a sudden your mental's completely happy about it. The bottom line is both of them are New York Football Giants. It doesn't matter. What a steal in the 2nd round at number 50.
Yep.
Because what we didn't also point out, and I forget the exact draft capital that we got, but who cares? It's a fact that we traded back and got something. We traded back again from, 43 to 50. We moved back 7 picks, get more draft capital for next year, and still get the best possible guy I can think of in my brain at that position. We get the pass rush we've been looking for. And like I said, just flip it around. Just pretend Azeez was your 1st rounder and Toney was your 2nd, and you walk away saying, oh my God, David Gettle God. But the fact that we also shored up draft capital, dude, I'm ecstatic. I mean, everybody else, I was with a few Giants fans who are typically hate on what David Gettleman does and the direction of the team over the last few years. I mean, everyone just universally absolutely ecstatic.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I mean, I know there were a bunch of people. It was not just one person. There were a lot of people that had Azeez Ojulari as a lock to go in the first round. I saw I saw at least one draft where that had him as the 16th best player in the draft. To get him at 50 at a position of need, thank you, David Gettleman. What a play that was. That's a great pick.
Yep.
Then I'm right there with you, man. Move on to the third round pick at 71, cornerback Aaron Robinson out of UCF. Cash or trash?
Yeah, this is cash for me. Reason being, so I definitely did not want to go near quarter in round one, round two, with the Surtains, the JC Horns, the Farleys, whatever you want to say, because it was not a position in need. We got our Dory Jackson. We have James Bradbury, who's a god, Logan Ryan. But the one thing that you always want, especially in football with injuries and all that stuff, is you want depth. We had games where our number one went down. We had a COVID situation. Not that COVID's always going to be a thing, but injuries can. And we saw the difference it made in our defensive scheme because we had to play without our number one corner. I'm not saying you could ever replace your number one corner, but the bottom line is depth, very, very important. We have Love and Yadam, who don't seem like they're going to hold down their jobs of being backup corners. Love can't stay on the field. He's torn his ACL already in his career, and he never kind of stays healthy. And Yadam was a seventh-round pick who really didn't do that great. He didn't do awful. Didn't do that great. So if this is the replace your depth and have some future upside type pick, I really like it. I really do. So cash for me.
There you go. Honestly,
I'm pretty sure we didn't have a third round pick. Until Gettleman replenished it with the trades, and it just makes that so much sweeter. So.
Brilliant. Yeah, I saw this pick. I didn't look too much into it because I'm not a Giants fan. But it sounds like a solid player in the third round. Can't complain. Fourth round pick, Ellerson Smith, linebacker out of Northern Iowa. Cash or trash?
Yeah, I'm going to go not full blown, but a minor cash. Like I said, I'm a fan of depth. I'm also a fan of the linebackers that Gettleman has typically found in these mid rounds. So I have a innate trust in his mid round finds for these linebackers. Some of them didn't work out for us, but using like a Ryan Connolly as an example, guy came out as a fifth rounder and he was a stud. He tore his ACL, so it was a shame that obviously his career for the Giants kind of got cut short because of injury. But he came out like a dog, and then you start to think like, listen, these later round picks, they're finding talent really well, and he's always found good talent in the secondary draft market. So I am totally okay with the pick. Not crazy about it, but just cash on that.
Yeah, I guess similar to the way I went, trash, but it was like slightly trash. I feel you on that one.
Yep.
Moving on, didn't have a fifth round pick. Into the sixth round, running back Gary Brightwell out of Arizona. Cash or trash?
For many reasons, trash.
That's fair.
Don't know him. Never heard anything about him or his upside at the running back position. I'm going to give some sort of note to this one, though, because I don't like him at the position running back, but he was actually not drafted for the position running back. He's going to be used on special teams, but it's impossible for me, even though with a Joe Judge and how important special teams is supposed to be, I'm never going to do backflips over a special teams pick. So he can be great, and maybe he's a great addition to the special teams, but I'm going to have to go trash anytime that you're hoping that that's the ceiling for somebody.
Yeah, I feel that, like I said, I mean, this is the kind of area where you're drafting for upside, so, the Jets take the second fastest defensive tackle in college with their sixth round pick. I would, who's the Giants backup running back?
Booker.
Oh, Devontae Booker. Right. Yeah. We get a lot of a running back, you're at that point, you're basically just hoping he's a special teamer because, Saquon's your starter. Devontae Booker is a solid backup. You don't need a backup. This pick doesn't really make much sense to me either. Just having you explain it. Yeah. And then 5 picks later, the last pick of their draft, Rodarius Williams, cornerback out of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, same thing. This actually might be a special teams thing as well. I don't see a path for him, and with that, I'll have to go trash. I mean, you do have to pick somebody, so I get it. But I can't sit here and just do jumping jacks for the sake of just getting excited because I'm a homer and I like the picks. I'm gonna go trash because I don't see him being an impact player. That's all. And it's again not a big trash. Like, how the hell did you take him? I'm never gonna freak out of what you do in the 6th round, never. But no, it's just one of those things where I'm not freaking out. So let me not go cash. Let's just go trash.
Yeah, that's fair. So I mean that's the Jets and Giants drafts. I think for sure. I don't think anybody would argue with us for the most part. I think they both did really, really well.
So happy.
Coming from the Jets' perspective, dead last in pretty much every offensive category last year. So what does Joe Douglas do? He drafts an offensive lineman. He drafts a new quarterback. We have a new staff, new offensive coordinator, not Adam Gase, which is the big difference maker there. Another wide receiver. You address wide receiver in free agency. You draft a running back. It's like you addressed all the pieces you needed to actually have an offensive game plan there. That's huge. From the Giants' perspective, I'm sure. I mean, all the bigger needs were addressed as well, right?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. So the thing I was gonna say is I'm ecstatic with the draft. You guys didn't get your big replacement for corners. Maybe the one thing you can take away from the draft if you have to pick a negative.
Yeah.
But at the same thing for the Giants, the one thing we didn't do is in any way shore up the offensive line. We didn't add a center out of the 2 big centers that were there in Dickerson and Humphreys. We didn't add a guard like you guys did. We literally balked and passed on Rashawn Slater that fell right into our lap at tackle. But what it tells me when you had the opportunity to do it and you literally walked away from it, it's not about those players not being good, but there's this confidence from the coaching staff, the front office, whatever, in our young players and the depth that we have is saying, no, guys, trust. I mean, listen, you can't say trust me in any sport because you're like, all right, we're just banking on these guys to be better than they were last year. But because of the circumstance, the age, and who we have there, it gives me kind of like confidence saying, wait, if they're looking and saying, no, we're totally fine going in with this offensive line, with these guys playing guard, Lemieux, Nick Gates playing center, he can be moved around. We signed Fulton as a backup. Now Solder is backup. He's depth behind probably Matt Pert at right tackle. You have Andrew Thomas at left tackle. And you feel confident with Hernandez at left guard. If that's the case, I can actually buy that product. Because I also am excited about those things. So if you're going to say, no, we trust Joe Judge and his guys to get those guys to be where we need them to be, where they need to be, then it makes me feel like there's a reason why they were okay with passing offensive line. So overall, I'm very, very happy.
I'm right there with you in that entire aspect. I'm a big, you got to believe in your guys kind of thing. And yeah. I've been, in the past 2 or 3 years, I've been on both sides of the coin where, last year I had zero confidence in anything Adam Gase was doing. And now the polar opposite, I have Robert Saleh, and I'm convinced that whatever he dutches on defense is going to turn into gold. And whatever Joe, like I said, with Elijah Vera Tucker pick, if Joe Douglas is trading up to pick an offensive lineman, that kid is going to the Hall of Fame. Like, that's the kind of confidence I have in Joe Douglas when he's assessing offensive linemen. He doesn't miss on offensive linemen. We saw last year with Mekhi Becton. Everybody, including myself, was like, I would have preferred any of the other guys. Mekhi Becton came out, ran people over all year. I'm going to go ahead. Listen, Joe, take your offensive lineman. Just you go for it. Whoever you want, I'm sure you're right. So I love that. Trust your guys. Trust that they know that they're assessing the talent right. And it's much easier to do that when they can prove it. And Joe Douglas has proven he can take offensive linemen. I'm sure Joe Judge has his, You're thinking the same way where their talent assessment, you've seen that they can assess talent, especially at certain positions, and that if they're not taking offensive linemen, it's for good reason, whether that be that the guys there aren't great or that the guys that they have are going to take that step and be the guys this year.
Yeah, it's one thing to just walk away from draft you just weren't in the position to get the guys you were looking for. No, they stared Slater in the face and said, no. We're not doing that, In the second round, you can't pass on Azeez Ojulari, of course, but I'm pretty sure Dickerson was still there at center, and the Eagles got him.
I think Humphrey went 63.
So Humphrey and he went 63, which honestly, I think he would have been our pick. But yeah, listen, if I really do trust them, maybe. But we have the weapons now. We have a mobile, semi-mobile Daniel Jones, and we have Saquon coming back. So I really don't think they're staring those two in the face which Mara has burned me in the past on this, but I'm talking about Gettleman. I don't think they're staring those two in the face and saying we're putting you behind a shitty product there. So we'll see. I'm very happy with both teams there.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some teams that I wasn't so happy with in the draft. I mean, specifically in the first round. I'm not going to go through each 32 teams seven rounders, but
yeah, no.
The first round alone blew my mind. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start with the one that I understand where it came from. It hurt my soul when they made the pick, and that's the Bengals at 5 taking Jamar Chase. They said, he said wide receiver, and my leg started to hurt. And I mean, dude, oh man,
it's so bad because
I fully understand Jamar Chase is like this generational talent. He's already played with Joe Burrow. You get him and Joe Burrow back together, it's going to be electric, right? Except if the ball isn't out in 2 seconds, Burrow's dead.
It's why Cincinnati is just a joke of organization. You got players basically running the organization. If you really break it down like that, right? They're taking Thaddeus Moss, undrafted free agent, and reuniting him with Joe Burrow, and then they go around and draft his number one dude when he was playing in college. Guys, just look at what's on the field. You don't have to say, well, we have to make Joe Burrow happy. Joe Burrow's happy being the number 1 overall pick in the NFL and making his millions and being a franchise guy. He wasn't happy about snapping his leg in half. So while Joe Burrow might have went to you as a kid, he's a kid, and in his mind saying, I would love to play with my friend. That would be great. You have to help save your quarterback from himself and be like, Joe, I get it. I understand it would hurt to see him play for another team. But, dude, which hurts more? The emotions of seeing him play for another team or your leg facing the opposite goalpost when you're supposed to be throwing downfield? So it was so stupid. I mean, listen, having elite weapons is never a bad thing. I get it. But remember that elite weapons are a luxury. You get your other shit in order first. Then you go for the weapons. That's how you build a good football team, in my opinion.
That one killed. Especially because T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, they're not scrubs. They're both really good players. So it's not like they were in desperate need of a wide receiver. I understand why they went wide receiver, but good Lord, that hurt me.
Pain. But it's going to hurt Joe more. What's it called? The other one, we can back up a little bit on it. Honestly, the 2 picks before that, actually. Smokescreen. We kind of had a feeling it was a smokescreen, right? Because UI and everybody in the world we're talking about the 49ers picking number 3. UI and everybody in the world is sitting there like, but Mac Jones is not worth it. We know this. He's not worth it. What the hell are we talking about, this Mac Jones? Now, I don't understand why they did the smokescreen. I don't get the point. You know what I mean? Because they kind of control their own destiny there.
Probably to force somebody to try to trade up with the Jets or something along those lines.
Yeah, but no. But think about it. Nobody on earth wanted Mac Jones. You know what I'm saying? So why would you turn around? You basically were just telling everybody else.
You throw those out there to bait in some kind of absurd trade where, what if Carolina's guy is Mac Jones right at 8? That's the next obvious spot for a quarterback. So now all of a sudden Carolina's like, oh shit. Listen, we'll give you trade back to 8. We'll give you CMC and a future pick.
I guess so, right? Unless it's really true. The combine really did change people's thoughts.
That is something that I heard too. Yeah, that what was it? Shanahan and John Lynch went out there,
and it was actually Belichick that deked everybody. It was Belichick that deked everybody because he was the one shaking his head at the combine. Meanwhile, he's sending his head. He goes, "This is my guy." And he put his hood up and he was in the dark light and he was just shaking his head like, "Isn't this kid pathetic?" And then he just went back into the shadows, and because he knew he was going to get his hands on him.
He loves his dad bod quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, of course, I know. But I'm jumping around here. But speaking of the Patriots, since we're talking about Mac Jones, I mean, it really is a perfect fit for them, right?
Oh, yeah.
For me, Mac Jones is a put your head down, deal with what you got, do as you say, get the job done. He's not gonna impress you with the crazy deep ball or this magnificent play to change the course of a game, but he's going to do what's asked of him. Apparently, he's a genius. Apparently, he knows playbooks, front, back, in between.
Apparently, Justin Fields does too.
Which is great. So those are the type of guys that, think about it, Belichick would rather take the mentally fit guy and just get us through the game. I'll get you the players that you need because, of course, you're talking to somebody who thinks Tom Brady is a huge product of Bill Belichick. So I love their pair. But,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Trey Lance goes to the 49ers. I don't even know if he should have been the next guy. I was a big Fields guy. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Trey Lance ends up being the pick, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Listen, I think Trey Lance is like a super freak athlete too.
Yeah.
He had like 1,200 rushing yards in 2019. He also threw 29 touchdowns and no interceptions. So I don't blame them for taking him. He's also got the Carson Wentz Midwest rocket arm because he was born with an axe in his hands. He grew up chopping trees in North Dakota. He carries around entire oak trees on his back for fun. He's got everything there.
Actually, no. There's multiple reasons why I don't like the pick. I don't like the pick because I don't even understand the 49ers' entire philosophy this entire time. Trading up was ridiculous to me. You were a Super Bowl team leading in the third quarter 2 years ago. Leading in the third quarter of the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And I understand there's injury concerns with Jimmy G or even just talent concerns at his ceiling. But you knew that at least he was a game manager prior and got you to the Super Bowl where anything can happen. And you're already looking for your new quarterback. And now you didn't even go with the most NFL-ready quarterback. So this is legitimately like this is our guy for the future type thing. Instead of just taking the best talent available and taking the Super Bowl roster to that let's go win a Super Bowl level. So there must be some crazy injury concern with Jimmy G. But at the same time, I don't think Trey Lance is better than Justin Fields. So right off the bat, I don't like the pick. It's just crazy.
Listen, man, you also don't like Zach Wilson. It's the same thing. That's their guy. If they think he's their fit and he's the out of those three remaining quarterbacks, Fields, Lance, and Mac Jones, if they thought he was the guy, it is what it is. I don't really blame them for that pick too much. Like I said, I think the Cowboys pick kind of confused me a little bit because LVE is still there and Jalen Smith is still there. I guess you said Jalen Smith.
They did lose linebackers, and
but at the same time, Micah Parsons is just a mutant. So
mutant.
The fit might not be there, but I don't blame them for taking a generational defensive player at 12. So.
And that was the best talent available.
Yep.
No matter how really you break it down.
Who else? I think the next really weird one.
Falcons.
Why?
Because I had a bet that Kyle Pitts wasn't going out in top 5.
Yeah, with me. You don't listen.
No, not you. I had a legit bet where I have to eat my shorts, pretty much live, recorded, whatever. I don't die.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You don't listen.
I had to figure that out. I wrote it on the board at work and everything, but
yeah, I should have bet you your house that Jalen Waddle would go before Devonta Smith, and that Kyle Pitts would go top 5.
I mean, what does that parlay look like?
I probably would have been like plus $1 million in your head. Yeah. I would have taken the bet in a heartbeat, and I would have been right.
The reason why is maybe I'm just looking at it. Not so much it wasn't gonna happen, like it wasn't likely, but in my mind it should not have happened. Atlanta should have just. I think Atlanta should have either just decided to get their next guy, and that's it, actually. They should have just decided to get their next guy. They need money off the books. They're broke. I don't even think they could afford the first-round pick.
I told you why the pick was going to be Kyle Pitts. I told you they're in the mock draft. It's because they genuinely think that they have the ability to win with Matt Ryan.
That's crazy.
Kyle, I didn't agree with it, but I told you that they're in their heads. They're like, yo, Matt still got it. Kyle Pitts is this mutant. Julio's might be gone. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You get Kyle Pitts.
Think about the logic. Matt Ryan today is not. He's not a Matt Ryan of 2007 MVP. Matt Ryan, his best year ever.
Yep.
So he's not. They don't have the quarterback at the level of his best. Their team isn't as good as it was in 2017. 2017, they were an offense that every single offense in the league would have said, I would want Atlanta's weapons and Atlanta's offense to play with. That you would have chosen their team as your offense if you had a choice. Even with Kyle Pitts and knowing that you're losing or at least having an aging of Julio Jones, you don't have as good of a team. Your running backs aren't as good. Your wide receivers, now with Julio Jones being a factor, isn't as good. Kyle Pitts is a beast, absolutely, but Matt Ryan isn't as good. So how are you supposed to really think you're going to make a run? Why? Because Drew Brees retired? You still have the Super Bowl champions in your division who kept everybody. I just feel like they had a chance. What's the likelihood, without trading up, of course, but what's the likelihood, by just natural record, that Atlanta's going to have a top 5 pick in the next 1-2 years?
Oh, it's not likely. Top 5? No, not likely.
Top 5. So you had a chance right there to get your guy because you know you're not going to be a top 5. Maybe even, you're going to be mediocre, right? Let's say 12, 13.
So what are you saying they should have done? Fields, Sewell, something like that?
Fields.
All right.
Fields. Or you can go Penei Sewell because I believe that anybody who's even looking towards the future, elite left tackle is still doing that because you're like, oh, well, our next guy will be protected. So, yes, what did I say? You take care of everything else first, then you worry about your elite weapons. Atlanta's going to be another middle of the pack, as they've always been. Their Atlanta fans are very upset about it. Middle of the pack type team with a lot of crazy good talent, but making the wrong moves at the wrong time, and that's it.
That's fair. I guess I could see your logic there. For me, the next really weird one was Alex Leatherwood, really early to the Raiders at 17. Are
you really that confused though, considering the team?
The Raiders just make whatever. I'm convinced that John Gruden just throws a dart at a dartboard. They don't let him go. They don't let him go off the rails that bad. But they're like, all right, here's our top 64 guys, right? And then as the names come off the board, they're like, okay. And then they get to 17, and they're all right. Here is our whatever that math comes out to be. Here is our 48 potential picks. And John Gruden takes a dart, throws it at the dartboard. All right, Alex Leatherwood. Now, to be fair, I like Alex Leatherwood. I like Alex Leatherwood. I think he's going to be a good player. So I don't mind the pick too much, but he could have easily gone to the Raiders in the second round. That one didn't make too much sense to me.
Yeah, it's weird. But I guess the only thing that, like I said, didn't make me think it was too weird is the fact that it was the Raiders. I did one of those, like, wait, Alex what? And then I saw who's drafting and kind of just took a breath out. I was like, got it. Very strange, but maybe he knows. Listen, he knows more than we know. So we'll see how that works out for him. Because I have a weirder one.
Go ahead.
Maybe one that makes me angry.
Let me see it.
Jacksonville's second pick. What are we doing?
I can't believe this pick. I get it. I get it. Etienne's a good player. He should have been the second running back off the board. He should not have been the second running back off the board to the team that has 20 other needs and just had RB4 last season.
Yeah.
Why? Robinson was literally the 4th best running back in the league last year in yards gained.
Yep.
Why are you taking a running back when they could have taken literally 17 other positions and it would have been a better pick? I'm right there with you.
Wasn't Bateman still available, or Elijah Moore, or whatever?
Bateman was available. Elijah Moore was definitely available because he went to the Jets in the second round.
He went to the second round. You're right. Yeah. Dude.
Bad.
What are we doing? You could even sold me on offensive linemen if you wanted to make a reach there. You just drafted your rookie quarterback who's supposed to be a generational talent, the best since Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck as far as evaluating college talent. And your second first-round pick went to I would say the only position I could think of that they are actually solid in. I can't think of another position where I could be like, I would be okay with Jacksonville.
Now, granted, I'm sure there's one guy out there, the one Jacksonville fan, who's going to be like, well, the Jaguars actually have a really high tier linebacker. I don't care. The one inside linebacker you have that's, top 16 in the league, great. I'm saying there's 16 other spots. They could have gone corner. They could have gone safety. They could have gone offensive line. They could have gone defensive line. They could have gone linebacker. They wide receiver.
I would have went kicker before I went running back. Okay.
There's just so many other spots they could have gone, and to go running back where they already have an answer, and then Urban Meyer comes out immediately after they make the pick, and he's like. Yeah, James Robinson and whoever our other guy are going to be our two guys. Travis Etienne's going to be our third down back. You drafted a third down back for the 25th pick of the NFL draft.
What the fuck? How do you even say that, too? Just lie. Lie to everyone. Be like, yeah, this is our all 4 downs going at team. Like,
I don't even know why he could have come out and said, I don't know why we drafted Trevor Lawrence. We're only going to run the ball next year. And that would have been a more acceptable answer.
Dude, listen, no. Let me just play the devil's advocate and give him something just so he doesn't feel like a total shit. Just a bag of shit. Because I know he's listening to this podcast, obviously.
Of course.
And you open up a lot of options on your offense when you have these talented players, when you have 2 solid running backs. We saw the benefit of having that from the Bucs team. We've seen it from plenty of teams in the past that have gone the dual running back. Look at the Browns, right? You open up a lot of creative offensive opportunity. But again, these are other much more complete teams that have shored up everywhere else before saying, what can we do with our second and third running option here? Especially with Trevor Lawrence, it kind of gives me, I guess, another sort of Joe Burrow type sense. Is that, did Trevor Lawrence get in the ear of the front office and say, "Well,
hey, I want to keep playing with Travis.
I want my friend. Please give me my friend." Because if that's what happened, I want both these organizations kicked out of the league permanently, forever.
It's bad. I mean, we gotta start wrapping up here. I want to go through just a couple more real quick. Peyton Turner to the Saints. I was watching personally Bleacher Report's coverage of the draft. They actually had Cameron Jordan there, who is a current player for the Saints.
Yes.
And after they made this pick, he said that it's a good pick, not a great pick, and he has to play with that guy every day. So that tells you that pick was, way out of left field.
It's very opinionated. I like him.
Yeah, Christian Barmore to the Patriots. He's the classic Patriots guy. Javonte Williams to the Broncos didn't make much sense to me because Melvin Gordon just had a pretty good season and Phillip Lindsay's still there. So I'm not quite sure why they went running back in round 2.
No, to be honest with you, let's back it up a little bit for two teams. First of all, Broncos, I think big mistake. I think you should have just listen. If you like Drew Lock, I get it, but come on. I think we know. He, in my opinion, ain't the guy. And you went corner, and I know you did have to replace corner. They lost Fuller, I believe, and they lost right. Yeah. They lost a couple guys. They had a banged up secondary. But like, what the hell? Where do you guys think you're going? Like, where do you think you're falling in the division or playoff run here? You're irrelevant. So I think they should have hit the reset button. I thought they had a position to. And did you see the reaction when Detroit? They couldn't believe that Penei Sewell fell to them.
Blew their minds. We had him projected there, didn't we?
I don't know. We probably did.
I'm pretty sure we did because we're fucking geniuses.
We're fucking geniuses. But, dude, they were probably on the phone with whoever their guy was. Maybe it was Patrick Surtain or whatever like that. And they saw the draft and they're like, hey, listen, we're ending up drafting. And they look at the screen and like, yeah, good luck, loser.
Penei Sewell, baby.
Hung up the phone, picked Penei Sewell, and started throwing shit.
Oh, yeah. So I think we can do 2 more things and we're gonna wrap it up. One that I know you're gonna love. The Cowboys' second round pick was probably the worst of all time. Did you see that?
No, I think I was taken.
Cornerback Kelvin Joseph out of Kentucky, who didn't play last year because he was advised by his coaches to sit out due to motivation issues.
That's a guy you want. That's a guy you want in your the second round pick.
It blew me away that was the guy they took. Let me see if I can pull it. Let me see if I can find it.
They needed a safety too, though.
Dude, it killed. I couldn't stop laughing when that was their pick. I actually couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny.
Kind of pissed because
that was incredible. One last one that I can't even remember anymore that I wanted to bring up.
Green Bay?
No, I don't even know. I don't think it matters.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
Screw it.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck it.
I had some.
Google. Play closing time.
Sure. Asking Pandora to play some music.
That's not a good idea, brother. Listen. The last one I want to do is Zaven Collins. Did you see that one?
Yes.
You saw Zaven Collins? So Zaven Collins, for anybody who hasn't seen it, is a great video. If you want to go watch the Cardinals, find it on Twitter, wherever, as we, fade to black here. Zaven Collins' phone call with the GM of the Cardinals, Steve Keim, was one of the better ones I've seen. Where they start partying. He finally calms down, and the first words he says to his new general manager, Steve Keim, are, "Steve, we're gonna fucking kill everyone." And I just thought that inject that energy right into my veins, man. I love that kind of stuff. You got anything else to throw in here before we call it?
It's closing time.
Closing time, bro. We out of here. It's been another fun one. Love me some NFL draft. can't. Oh Jesus, you gotta stop. NFL draft is what I live for, man. So it's been a fun week. It's been a fun week. Jets hit home runs. Giants hit home runs. New York.
The Mets didn't.
Yeah, Aaron Judge hit home runs. It's great. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be next week. We'll do some MLB updates. I need more NFL in my life at this point, man. I don't know if I could go.
That's one thing I needed after day one. I needed NFL to start the next day.
I said the same thing, man.
But I will say this too, because let's not forget it. The New York Knicks, the New York Knicks are the 4 seed, and we're in the final stretches here. So go New York, go New York, go.
We can't lose right now. And that's it for us. See you later.
Later.